Shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Ha, Racha, Kwadash, Ma'amah. Double honors to the elder apostles of GMS and their elders. Double honors to my elder, Pt.1 Banyasharala of the Lions Den Camp here in Jacksonville, Florida. Salutations to the sincere Aki and pushing his truth and sincerity around the four corners of this earth. I'm Nakar Harab Banyasharala, coming out of the Lions Den Camp of Yasharala here in Jacksonville, Florida. Now today I'll be coming out a lesson. It'll be in a two-part because there's some scriptures that I'm gonna cover. But I'm gonna be coming out of Second Esdras, chapter 16. I'm gonna start at verse 19, and I'm gonna jump over. Okay, this is Second Esdras, 16 and 19. It says, "Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment." So we know these things come upon the earth: famine and plagues, tribulations, hard times, bad times, anguish, painful times. They are sent as scourges for amendment. I mean, they're sent for correction and for judgment and for a reflection of what you are doing, or how you have been carrying yourself, or how you've been dealing with things. So this is why plagues, and famines and things are sent. They're sent as corrections. And a lot of these plagues and famines and scourges and anguishes that we've seen around the four corners of the earth, they're going to come to America very soon. You know, like they say in the movie theaters, in a TV show or whatever, or commercial. Hey, coming to a city near you. Well, it's coming to a country near you. And if you're not protected of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, you're gonna get caught up in this here judgment. These scourges for amendment will be upon your head. But that's why plagues and stuff like this happen, because they are created by Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai for correction. Verse 20, it says, "But for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges." So we have the masses here in Babylon, 2/3 of Yasharallah included, you know, for the things that are being seen on the earth right now, these great famines and these plagues and these tribulations that we see around the four corners of the earth in other countries. And it's like people here, it's like but for all those things that they've seen, or of what the Most High has allowed to be shown over here in Babylon, they still not going to turn from their wickedness here in Babylon. And they're not going to always be mindful of the scourges. They're not going to always remember why these things happen, and why things like plagues and famine and tribulation and anguish comes to a place or to a kingdom or to a country. Okay, I'm gonna just go ahead and read through. It says, "And behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon the earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case. Even then shall evils grow upon the earth, sword, famine, great confusion." So even now, even with people thinking that, oh, they still got that whack sentiment. Oh, America is the best place on the earth, and when it's the best country in the world, when it isn't. But while things that are going on around the four corners of the earth, the people here, because their victuals and their gas prices are at its lowest at this point, or haven't been this cheap in a long time, I should say. While they can still go to the store and pay $2, maybe $3 for a gallon of milk, you know, they're gonna still consider themselves to be in good case, even though you have various places around the four corners of the earth and in the various places in the cities of Babylon, America. They have whole aisles that are not full of any product, food or meat or whatever. But because they just think, oh, it's just sprinkled here and there. Eventually, it's going to be like that everywhere in Babylon. But because people here think that their goods is cheap and they can still buy their goods, they still think themselves to be in a good case. They still think themselves to be, uh, how the terminology like Jake say, "Oh, I'm straight." That's how they think. But even then, evils are still going to grow and continue to grow around the four corners of the earth. Sword, famine, and great confusion. It's still going to continue to happen. Verse 22, it says, "For many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy." So you're going to have many people here in Babylon, and especially they of the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American, especially they, the 2/3, a lot of them are gonna die. They're gonna perish from the famine. They're not gonna have food. They're gonna die from that. And those that escape the famine, the sword is gonna destroy. Ultimately, either if it's not the martial law troops or the Gurga troops, ultimately it's gonna be the missiles, those ICBM missiles of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, the ultimate judgment. So either way it go, if you're not covered by Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, you will perish in this coming judgment of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. But let's continue. Verse 23, it says, "And the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them. For the earth shall be wasted, and the cities shall be cast down." So the dead are going to be cast out like dung on the street, meaning a dead body just going to be just laying out there. You ain't gonna have the coroner's office. You ain't gonna have the rapid responders or the ambulance people, whichever terminology you want to call them. You ain't gonna have the police and the fire and the rescue. You know, they're not gonna come and pick up those bodies. So their bodies, so people's dead bodies are gonna be as dung, as doo doo, laying in the street, stinking, swollen, and flies flying all around it. And there's gonna be no man to comfort them. That means there's gonna be no one to come get the bodies and pick them up and take them to where they're supposed to go. This is going to happen here in America very soon. And the cities of this place is going to be cast down because the earth is going to be wasted. The whole earth is going to be in a turmoil. There's going to be various things happening around the four corners of the earth, as well as the ultimate destruction happening here in Babylon. And the cities here are also going to be cast down. It's going to be like Mad Max out here. Verse 24, it says, "There shall be no man left to till the earth and to sow it. The trees shall give fruit, and who shall gather them?" So there's going to be ain't gonna be nobody working to till the earth, to make the fruit grow, so that the harvesters can harvest the fruit and send it off to a processing plant to be processed, to be put onto market, to be sold to the public. It's not going to be any man left to till the earth and to sow it, meaning to take care of these jobs and to work these jobs. Because this place is going to be in such a destroyed state, such a downtrodden state. No one is going to be left to do the jobs, to work. Because people are going to be running from various threats here in Babylon. Gurga troops, martial law troops, the U.S. Army. Well, part of the U.S. Army that's going to comply, because they're going to have to get their troops from overseas. Because most people in Babylon, really believe that they have freedom of will, and but we're going to keep going. But again, ain't gonna be no man left to till the earth or until so ain't gonna be no more workers out here working. You ain't gonna wake up to the busyness that you hear every day before you get up every morning. Well, when you get up every morning, you ain't gonna hear nothing. You ain't gonna hear cars on the highways. You ain't gonna hear city buses going down the street. You ain't gonna hear Jake ride through the hood with his wham. You ain't gonna hear Esau with the overly loud vehicle driving down the street. You ain't gonna hear none of that. Verse 26, "The grapes shall ripe, and who shall tread them? For all places shall be desolate of men. See, the grapes shall be ripe. So when there's going to be work to be done. There's going to be work to do here. But guess what? The places, for all these places, they're going to be desolate of men. There's not going to be anyone there really to run these factories, to do these jobs, to till the earth, to tread down the grape, to get wine or whatever. You know, the fruits that give, the trees that give their fruit. Ain't gonna be nobody there to gather them. Ain't gonna be nobody doing no work here. And it's gonna be that desolate to the point, verse 27, so that one man shall desire to see another and to hear his voice. It's gonna get that sparse. It's gonna get that bad. Where people gonna desire to see each other. A man gonna be desiring to hear the voice of another man. And not not in that sense. In a sense of I'm glad I'm not the only one alive still, or I hope I'm not the only one that survived. It's gonna be like that. They're gonna be longing to know if it's anybody else around that's surviving. That's what it means by so that no man shall desire to see it. So that one man, Salakia, shall desire to see another and to hear his voice. Because it's gonna be so messed up here in Babylon when the Lord really get it going and it's been going good, it's gonna be just that bad. It's gonna be that bad. Where let's say somebody that you used to know cross town wasn't nothing but a skip and a hop before everything hit the fan. You could go over there and see what's going on with them now, but then it get to a point where it gets so bad to a skip and a hop seem like 1,700 miles away. Because of Esau and the crap he gonna have that's gonna be going on here in Babylon. So again, verse 27, so that no, Salakia, keep saying no, I don't know why, but so that one man shall desire to see another and to hear his voice. Verse 28, for of a city shall be 10 left, and 2 of the field which shall hide themselves in the thick groves and in the clefts of the rocks. That's just saying these cities, it ain't gonna be as in these cities ain't gonna be as inhabited as they are now. Like you go to a city, it's easy to catch 10 million people in the city easy with no problem. It's gonna get to a point where ain't gonna be no 10 million. Shit, it might be literally just 10 people in a whole city. Might be 2 people in the field. Why? Because they're gonna be running and they're gonna be hiding. That's why it says it says for of a city there shall be 10 left, and 2 of the field which shall hide themselves in the thick groves and in the clefts of the rocks. That's gonna be meaning that's gonna be people running, hiding from what? Esau, Gerg troops, martial law troops. Never know, hiding from drones because you know Esau got the whole robotic army lined up, getting that ready. You know, so they're gonna be running from people. Gonna be basically running from persecution, basically living like pilgrims or nomads, whichever word you want to use, but mainly pilgrims. They're gonna always have to get up and move and leave because wherever they at, it may be okay for a time, but then it get compromised and they have to leave. And the Lord is gonna have it when it comes down to His righteous, the ones that He said He will protect. They're gonna be protected, even if they are the ones that have to hide themselves from Esau or hide themselves for whatever force that's in the land at the time. The Lord is still gonna protect them, so He's gonna provide these places to hide. The ones that's like in the thick groves and stuff like that, in the clefts of the rocks, in the caves and different places like that, in certain spots in forests. You know, you go there for a time and the Lord have you, and then after a while, He let you know by letting you see something. Okay, yeah, it's time to move, and then the Lord will move you. We're gonna have to be like pilgrims in that day. At any moment, being ready to leave and go to another place to survive. But let's continue. But nonetheless, the true men of the Lord, the remnant of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua will be protected and will be taken very great care of Yahweh Yahushua. Let's continue. As as in an orchard of olives, upon every tree there are left 3 or 4 olives. So just like an orchard of olives, in every tree there are left 3 or 4, meaning after harvest, there are still left some that are still on the tree that did not get harvested. Or as when a vineyard is gathered and there are left some clusters of them that diligently seek through the vineyard. Even in those days shall there be 3 or 4 left by them that search their houses with the sword. So there you go. Houses are going to be desolate. Whole neighborhoods may even be desolate. But you may have those, as it says here, those 3 or 4 that are left, you know, by those who diligently search the vineyard, or the martial law troops, the Gurga troops going door to door with the sword, either to put them to death or to capture them or to keep tabs on them and see how they move. And that's how it's going to be. It's going to be very few people out and about. But nonetheless, there will be people out and about during these times, going from one place to another, like the saying goes, from pillar to post. But just like when an orchard of olives, has been harvested, or a vineyard of grapes have been gathered, there are still left some clusters, even though that vineyard has been diligently or per se thoroughly harvested. There are still clusters and still olives left. That's how it's going to be with the people. It's going to be like that. Even in the days to come, it's going to be 3 or 4 left by them that search their houses with the sword. So it's going to be people that's going to get around, let's say the martial law troops, not the martial law troops, but the martial law troops, or the Gurga troops, or whatever other kind of troops that Esau is going to have to come rage this place with. That's how it's going to be in reality. Verse 32. It says, "And the earth shall be laid waste, and the fields thereof shall wax old, and her ways and all her paths shall grow full of thorns, because no man shall travel through there through Salakia." So the earth is going to be laid waste, and the fields thereof shall be waxed old. Ain't gonna be nobody there to reap down the wheat fields, to harvest the sugar cane and the corn and things like that. The earth is going to be laid waste, and those things are going to grow over. And it says what? "And her ways and all her paths shall grow full of thorns, because no man shall travel there through." They're just talking about these cities. They're going to grow over with vegetation, because there'll be no more cars riding around. There'll be nobody constantly walking up and down sidewalks. So the earth is going to grow over that. It's going to go through it and destroy it. Break it up. Because you know how you ever seen a tree grow from under the concrete, whether it be a concrete slab or wall. That tree devastate that concrete. No matter how hard that concrete is, that tree eventually is going to win. So that's what's going to happen with the cities of this place. That's why it says what it says. "And all her paths shall grow over full of thorns." Like I Am Legend. You seen how the city was. Wasn't no cars moving. Wild animals was running around. You seen birds flying, things like that. But you ain't see no big tractor trailer trucks transporting no product to wherever. You didn't see cars riding around. You didn't see the mailman giving mail out. You didn't see the Brinks truck either making a drop off or making a collection from a business. You didn't see none of that. You seen vegetation that was all growed over. That's how it's gonna be, just like here in Babylon, for the Lord ultimately destroy this place. Verse 33. It says, "The virgins shall mourn, having no bridegrooms. The women shall mourn, having no husbands. Their daughters shall mourn, having no helpers." That means it's not going to be any men. A lot of the men are going to die off here. The only men that the Lord is really going to keep is his hopeful elect, his remnant of Israel, that are of the remnant of Israel. So a lot of men are going to die. And a lot of women, virgins, like they say, no bridegrooms, meaning the women are not going to have any protection. They're going to mourn having no husband. And those that didn't die or won't die during the famine and the pestilence and the martial law, they probably have already went over and joined Esau's army, and now they over there in the valley of Jehoshaphat or Yahweh Shaphat, the Most High Judgment, fighting. And guess what? They're gonna be destroyed over there as well. So it's gonna be no men outside of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, you know, that's gonna be protectors and to be protected. So when it comes down to it, these women are not gonna have any protectors. Like they're gonna be open for any danger that come their way. And that's why it says they're gonna mourn. They're gonna be lamenting and crying. You know, because they're not gonna have husbands, and their daughters. It's not gonna be no men there to protect. So the women are gonna be vulnerable to pretty much anything. See, verse 34, and it says, "In the wars shall their bridegrooms be destroyed." So a lot of men are gonna die fighting Esau's pointless fight, and their husbands shall perish of famine. So a lot of men are gonna die of hunger as well. Just imagine a dude that's diabetic. They gotta have like every now and then you gotta eat something sweet to keep your glucose up or whatever that is. I think so that you won't pass out and fall into a diabetic coma. So a lot of men gonna die in the war, and a lot of men gonna die of famine, lack of food. And I'm gonna start a second part. So with that, shalom.